What's the natural response to two people getting closer?
Scary.
Opening up. I think we could become really good roommates, even if we're married, and not have connection.
Every man needs to know that the woman he's with is 100% his.
As a good woman, you need to either bend over or suck dick at any given call, for your man.
You guys are both closer to psychiatric patients than Superwoman and Superman.
Literally, we'll get a sex dungeon or something. Whatever we gotta do to make it work. I swear.
God damn, you guys are way too good for each other and terrible simultaneously. Opportunity cost. Was she part of your roster? Welcome, Mel.
Thank you.
Is it Mel? What's
Melvin.
Melvin.
Shingleton.
Shingleton.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's pretty cool. How'd you get Shingleton?
English grandpa.
English grandpa, Shingleton. Oh, I would have never guessed, dude. I would have never guessed that your last name.
Do I look like that?
No, you don't look like a
No.
Shingleton. I wouldn't think so. Well, that's badass. I really like that.
Thank you.
And well, Carly, I know you pretty well. You've been here a few times, and you get to help me with this stuff on the front end as somebody who helps work in my business and help other people be the best versions of themselves, I guess. And today is it's a different kind of setup. I've never done anything like this before. I've done things like this, but not like this, not where there's the eyes of Saruman staring into you. And what I really wanted to just make this about is I understand that you guys are in a relationship with each other, but if you're here together, then there's something that you're both really looking for yourself, And before you go ahead and make this about, all relationships are really an internal manifestation of your deepest commitment. And if it's not there, then what tends to happen to most people is their dysfunctions become representative of their relationships. So the last thing I'd want is your dysfunctions to be as good as your relationships. And so the purpose of vulnerability is to investigate the uninvestigated with the person you are voluntarily invite to come closer on that path. And so the nature of men and women is something we're going to talk about today. Also your relationship, what you guys have been really hitting a wall with. And I think just when we can start returning it to the more vulnerable, intimate conversations, they're going to be surrounding around development and even past relationships. So if you guys are all willing to talk about that, then I'm here to go there with you in the trenches.
Absolutely. Sounds
so
amazing.
welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
you.
So Mel, we never spoke before,
Mm-mm.
which is so fucking crazy. That's crazy. We never spoke before, and we're doing this.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, what would make you want to do this? Think of it this way. What would make you? What is the nature of the motive? What brought you here?
When Carly presented the idea to come do this, I've been on other podcasts. I like connecting with myself, being vulnerable, especially if it's a new concept and how to get connected better with her through vulnerability. When she asked me, I said, yeah, for sure. I'd love to.
Amazing. Because that's really rare. I wouldn't get that a lot, which is very exceptional. I hope you know that.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, to even be in a position where you're like, look, I want to know more. I want to grow. Especially the nature of what I do has a lot to do with emotions. Personally, what I just saw I was like, this guy's a sensitive giant. Now could mean a whole list of things to yourself. And I think, what I'm recognizing a lot more of is the nature of men's relationship with their emotions is typically one that they associate to weakness. And if you're deeply sensitive, that means the capacity by which you feel that. So you can either feel your relationship with the emotion or you can feel the emotion as it is, right? One of them dissolutes your identity. The other preserves a kind of internal fake altruism of sorts. And it just removes you from people because it creates a worldview that doesn't really exist. And so, yeah, what have you guys been clashing over? Or what has been the thing that you guys want to get closer with? Because I mean, clearly, you're in your 30s, you are in your 40s. You guys have to look at it differently. You're not dating in your 20s again. You guys have histories, you have pasts, and those pasts they're more of a mirror of a reoccurring wound consistently, right? And why would this be any different? Logically, you are correct. It wouldn't be any different unless you're willing to make a conscious effort to discover what feeds these dysfunctions. And all cycles are existential questions. And so I don't want you guys returning home the same people. Not after this. I don't want you guys to have to agree to something, not the same relationship after this conversation.
Perfect.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So what's been the hesitation, the underlying fear? Because that's the nature of this. It's like, we're getting closer. Just from what I know, from what Carly shared with me, from what you made very openly stated just in how you guys walked in, you guys are getting closer. What's the natural response to two people getting closer?
It's scary.
Opening up.
Well, what's the what is the natural emotion to feel when you're getting closer to somebody?
Fear.
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, I think depending on how you process and live life, like it could be avoidance, could be like scary.
Hmm.
I think it depends on how much work you've done on yourself.
You don't need to explain it.
Yeah,
She said it really quickly.
yeah.
It's just something to pay attention to.
I felt it instantly. As soon as I started getting closer to him, I was like, oh, this is really scary, actually.
Yeah, and I mean, you have a really big heart. There's no question
Yeah.
about it, and you're deeply sensitive. But you go here more. This is your home. This is your it's your steel trap. Because the truth is fear. That's what you feel. You feel fear. You know, regardless of the work you've done, you're going to be just like everyone else. And it's a hard thing to accept sometimes because it's like, well, everybody else has a bad card dealt. But this is the part of you that is human. You're going to start learning to associate to that. So, yeah, fear is the first thing. And so, how's that been working out for you? What do your behaviors look like?
On the fear side,
Yeah.
well, I think that's I've got to have a lot of internal dialogue for myself around the fear, and when those moments happen, I just look at it subjectively, like.
You whoop out of Alex or Hermosi.
What's that?
Effectively, what we're trying to do here.
Subjectively,
Yeah. Use the word effectively a lot.
But yeah, I just have to tell myself like, trust in this process, trust in this person. Don't shut off. Don't get scared. Like this is just part of a relationship.
I like this. But this is new for you. Can you accept this is new for you?
What part?
Intimacy.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, we're going to be thrown into waters you've never swam in, and potentially you don't even know to swim. So that's what this is like. And you show up to that, you won't be stuck with it. You're like, I don't know how to swim. And that's not something you would like to hear as somebody who's clearly in charge, large and in charge.
Mhm.
And so this is going to be, again, it's going to be contrary to the identity because this is a part of yourself that is probably it is the source of your strength and the source of all of your success, and inevitably will be the manifestation of your love, whether it's with her or with somebody else. But this remains to be true for you no matter where you go. So yeah, when I'm talking about what do the behaviors look like? Putting away all of the rationalizations or the explanations of we're just going to try to get to the raw emotions here. And even just how you feel about getting close to somebody. Like when I talk about the behaviors, like I can give myself as an example. Typically when I experience fear, or not even fear, even shame, I think that's something I experience a little bit more of. You could feel shame first because you're afraid and you're like, why the fuck am I afraid of women? I should never be afraid of this shit, right? I mean, if there's anything to be afraid of, it's women.
Mhm.
As a man, makes the most sense. Especially if you have a life and you built a life, well, you just have one thing to worry about. And yeah, you're there. You're at that point in your life. And so what I want to get closer to is what you yourself would like to have in the relationship. What you would like. What kind of space would you be looking to have? What would you want to create between you and her or whoever it is?
Explain the question a little bit more.
Yeah, because I think what I'm talking about is what is the overall aim of what you're looking to build in your life with a woman?
Well, I mean, you can't do it by yourself. It just doesn't work, you know. So, whether it's with her or with somebody else, I think having a really deep connection, something that um, we just have a really, really good relationship.
You guys are good people for each other. You're very, very similar. Can we try this? There's a lot I know. And I think that'd be interesting is like, I mean, Carly shared a lot about her relationship with you. And the one thing that's there is there's a deep, deep connection that's there. And when that's there, you don't need to, bring a list of other things. You know it's there. I mean, it got really close after the last 2 months, but before the last 2 months, what did it look like?
What it look
Can I
like?
speak
Go
on
for it.
that?
Yeah.
I think that Mel had a lot of protective mechanisms put in place to prohibit that connection from growing deeper at a faster rate. And so I think that before the prior 2 months, it was just very slow and not consistent.
Okay, can you tell me something?
Yeah.
Okay, you told me nothing.
How was that?
I mean, like, fucking, did you even hear what you said?
What do you mean?
Start from the beginning.
Okay.
I'm just genuinely like, remember, this is water time.
I'm
This
sweating.
isn't, you're not on land
Okay.
anymore. You're in water.
Right.
That's the
Okay.
point of this. Yeah, no, what I was saying is that the nature of that relationship, there were a lot of things that clearly were reflective of your dysfunctions, both of you guys collectively, and that's going to be something you guys are going to learn to do. Speak for yourself. This is me, I do this thing. This is me, I do that thing. Our dysfunctions feed each other and satisfy a deep underlying comfort that has been so repetitive in our life. The idea of anything outside of that is terrifying because that means we're progressing. And the idea of that is ridiculous because all I need is just to get a little bit from you. She gets a little bit from you, and you guys kind of scratch those itches, and you confuse that for progress. You confuse that for a loving relationship. Just throw some kids in there, and you'll have your answer. So what I'm saying is be real with the state of what that relationship looked like, because you guys are actually living in fear of what it looked like when you were further from each other. And by the way, in a lot of ways, you get to know a lot about the person's dysfunctions and their protective mechanisms. I mean, that's clear as day. Of course, he's protecting himself. But the whole point is speak about it from your perspective. What was it that you were going through? What was it that was inconsistent? What were the things that you wanted to get closer with at the time? Because I promise you this, you don't want to bring yourself back to that time. Don't you want to get through that? Then there's only one thing that's going to bring you back there. The emotions you haven't expressed or communicated or even allowed yourself to experience when you were there.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So previously, I felt a little bit
This is why you guys are here. It's fucking silly shit. I know.
no. I think okay. I'm truly trying to think back because we have grown past that and we've talked about it so many times, and I feel like we're in such a better place right now. It's hard for me to go back to that. But I think that when we first had initially started seeing each other, it wasn't the safest environment for me. So I felt a lot of anxiety, not knowing like the intentions behind the interactions and what we were working towards. And so it just made me feel very anxious and not super confident in the relationship.
Yeah, no, that was a lot better than the first one.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that was way better. Yeah, what about for you, Mel? What did that look like in the beginning of it? Because I mean, she even said it herself. It's things are good now. I don't want to go back there.
Yeah.
That's avoidant by nature, by the way. So I'm just letting you guys both know you're avoidant of something. Your relationship to your own feelings back then that threatened the current state of the relationship. And I think even for you, it's being seen. It's like what you want. Fuck, man. Like you need some of that. That's revitalization. That's transformation there. When you're seen, that's when you transform. And that's your greatest need. So what did it look like for you in the beginning? Because I'm sure you had your own resistance and avoidance. So what did that look like?
Yeah. In the beginning, I mean, you meet people at random times in your life, right?
Not so random.
I mean, could be not random, but you meet people, and regardless of everything that happened in the past, you're meeting this person as a new person. And when I met her, it was just randomly in an elevator. I just got out of
randomly.
Like
you keep using that word randomly.
I met her in an elevator, and I just got out of a long relationship, like 4 or 5 years. And so
You just yeah.
I've been in a
That's very
relationship
important to share.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years.
Just came out of a relationship and met this girl in an elevator.
Yeah.
Well, you're in for a world of trouble, buddy. Yeah. Okay, we're going to talk about that relationship later. So
Yeah.
what did that?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how long ago were you in that previous relationship for?
So I was out of it about a year.
For about a year.
8 months. Yeah,
About 8 months.
when I met
Okay,
her.
so relatively recent if you were with them for
Yeah.
5 years.
Correct.
Were you like? Did you have children? Do you have
No children.
nothing? Just a serious relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. And then randomly you met her.
Yeah, randomly.
And in an elevator.
It's an elevator.
We saw each other.
Well, you guys are
multiple
locked
times.
in. Fuck.
Oh,
He
no.
can't even run. I would have
The full
told him to run if
story.
I was there.
No, tell us the full story. So we live in the same building. We ran into each other probably 3 or 4 times in the elevator before he said anything to me. We just kept seeing each other in the elevator.
Oh, randomly.
Yeah, it wasn't random at all.
You still say that, man.
Not random
Fucking
at all.
first time, third time, not random
No,
at all.
not at all. It was not random at all.
Not random at all.
No.
So third time. elevator doors lock, and you're like, hey, excuse me. What did that look like?
I had my kids with me.
She had her kids. Yeah.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like,
I didn't even know she had kids.
By the way, that's way better. You know what you're in for.
Yeah.
You know, and you could make your choices from there. You didn't even know you have a kid too, yeah?
Mhm. Yeah. I have a
Right,
daughter.
beautiful. Thank God.
yeah. And he was like, I'm not going to miss this opportunity again. I would like to get your phone number.
Randomly.
Random. Yeah, I like it. First time, random. Second time, random. Third time, I won't miss this opportunity again.
I mean, I talked to her the first time I saw her.
Like
Yeah.
small talk, like, how are you? Or what do you
Yeah,
say?
just normal, you know.
I hate when that happens. You have to meet somebody,
was in a
and then your
hurry,
whole
you were in a
life
hurry.
changes.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
I know. What was your initial? Because clearly this was something you had an emotion to.
Yeah.
What was your initial reaction to her the first time you saw her in the elevator?
I thought she was gorgeous. I was like, wow. And then we talked for just like brief, where are you from? You know, do you live here or whatever?
Yeah.
And then I got upstairs and I told my buddy, I was like, dude, I just saw the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in Portland. I didn't know they existed in Portland.
Not only, first off, can we talk about another random occurrence? You guys
No
live in
pink
the
hair.
same
No.
complex.
Yeah. And get this, Naf, he lives in Vegas. So he's only in that apartment like very
1 week out of the
seldom.
month.
1 week out of the month. And so the timing of the universe in my mind is
Yeah,
just-
women love this shit. Men are like, I mean,
No, I love this shit. I'm one of those women. Like, we're meant to be, like, slap a ring on it. I'm ready to walk down the aisle.
yeah, but you're not dealing with somebody who is the same connection to that. So you guys are going to teach something about life to each other.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the initial reaction to meeting somebody is incredibly gorgeous in Portland's terrified. That's the truth. Because if they're pretty, then there's like you don't have an excuse anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're like, oh, fuck me. I hate the vulnerability of being a man.
Right.
Susceptible to everything. Yeah, we are. It's interesting. Women are susceptible to everything. Men are susceptible to women.
Mhm.
And so we learn that about life. You mirror a much larger truth. So, and then from that point, what did it look like from there? How did you guys pick things up?
Pause.
Oh, yeah, this is a bad idea. I shouldn't have done.
No, it's okay. Continue.
I'm not
Fine.
going to light anything.
No, you're fine. No, it's okay.
Okay, so you guys from there, you came out of a serious relationship. What about you?
I had been single for about a year and a half.
About a year and a half. So your last relationship was also about a year ago from that point.
Yeah.
I won't do
Sorry.
that again. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
Lighting up matches. So yeah, yeah, you guys are functioning in relatively similar timelines with each other. And this is something for you. When you start attributing randomness to something, you also start attributing apathy to the thing that's random. Like there's an overall like nihilism. And the thing about love is that it does mirror a existential truth about life and what you're willing and how you're willing to live with life. And then when you start talking about the deeper nature of the people that come into your life, you start to show up to the people that come up to your life with a deeper understanding of your purpose in it. And when that happens, you're going to inevitably have to face conflict of sorts. And I think internal conflict and being able to share that with yourself and have a space to at least address that. Not everyone's had that. So the closer you get, you're going to have to start recognizing how deep your commitment to even investigate that yourself. Because we'll start speaking for the other person about what we trust or what we don't trust. But ultimately, this has to do with what you yourself are really looking for. And potentially, maybe you've bitten more than you can chew. And so just some things for you to pay attention to is a little bit of like, oh, the randomness of it. And the reason why I say that is not because you're not somebody who's precise, but you can tell a lot about a person based off the words that they use, especially based off something as bounding as love. Love is deeply bounding. Like if you share that with somebody, I mean, like you can call your relationship whatever the fuck you like. You're not going to sleep tonight. You know, like that's going to bring you guys closer. And who's to say it doesn't bring up a lot of emotions that mirror a lot of relationships of the past. And then both of you have your best mask on because she's the supermodel you met in the elevator and you're the tall stud that she can't stop talking about every 5 seconds, right?
Yep.
And to think that that's not A, exciting, B, terrifying, and then also the implications of this need to be something much larger than yourself, especially if you want to have something long-lasting. Because have you been married before?
Yeah.
All right, you've been married?
No.
No? Not legally. So you just
No.
skip the steps? You have children, though.
Mm-hmm.
So you've more or less both been married.
Yeah.
But to act like that hasn't happened is exactly where both of you betray yourself. the things that happened in the past with him, the things that happened in the past with you, you continue to portray yourself when you continue to go, well, I'm just going to learn to be vulnerable and talk about these things. Like, you guys didn't sign up for it. You guys are both closer to psychiatric patients than Superwoman and Superman.
Mhm.
And that's hard to accept sometimes, because the nature of that is revealing of who you really are. Because you guys don't want to find that out in 6 months.
Mhm.
You don't want to find out who you really are. You want to make that really clear about what that is now. Because you can have a relationship with the person. You can't have a relationship with a projection. And, well, both of you have your secrets. And the worst thing you can ever create for your family, and including yourself to any intimate space, is keep those secrets.
Mhm.
So for you, Mel, well, what did it look like in the beginning?
Sorry. Continue. I'm sorry. The smoke.
It's okay. Yeah, what did it look like for you in the beginning?
Yeah, after we met.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just got out of that relationship previously, and I really didn't know exactly where I want to go, like as far as relationships go. And so she just came in a moment when I didn't expect it to happen. Um, and I was still dating other people and traveling a lot, and that happened for the next 6 months. I'm only there maybe a week, 2 weeks out of the month, and so it was very inconsistent.
However, I was also flying to Vegas to see him.
Well, no, I like the honesty here. You were seeing other women. That's
Yeah.
totally cool.
Yep.
You fixed your mind on him.
What do you mean?
What was your relationship? What were you doing? You were just flying out. Did you understand the agreement? Was that something you knew?
That he was dating other women?
Yeah.
I think initially when we first started dating, yes.
How did you feel about that?
Well, I think when you first start dating, you can't put expectations to like drop the roster right off the get-go until you know for sure you want to invest in like the opportunity cost. And
God
so-
damn, you guys are way too good for each other and terrible simultaneously. Opportunity cost? Fucking imagine talking about like sex affection ratio
yeah.
by toxic behaviors. Opportunity cost, motherfucker. Okay.
Good
Did
old
I
Carly. You need my drink?
No, I'm okay.
Yeah, back to opportunity cost.
No, but
You can't expect him to drop the roster.
no.
Remember, none of these things had anything to do with dropping rosters. I want to show you guys something, because you guys are actually having a new relationship, whether you like it or not. It doesn't mean that didn't happen. You have to integrate that into this new relationship. Like I said, you guys will not have the same relationship after this, because you're going to be more honest with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Inherently, the way that you were starting this is where you just kind of had an understanding of what you call an overarching mating rule, that we can't expect anything from anybody, right? But that's not the question. The question is, it's kind of like the dishonesty that you guys are really looking to go back and repair so that you can have an additional foundation for this, because you guys are both super people in a lot of ways. I know a lot about you through her, and I know plenty about you, and that tells me more about you than you could imagine. And I think that there's something that brings you two very close together, but that's much bigger than both of you. Whatever that is much bigger than both of you. So you're going to have to collectively share that understanding, and you're going to have to be a lot more truthful.
Mm-hmm.
And to think that truth isn't just the thing that you tell somebody, but it's also the person that you're willing to embody and what you're willing to stand by.
Mm-hmm.
So you have an underlying emotion around these things. For you, pretty cool, no expectations, it's fine, I travel the world, whatever it is. But let's just take even Carly's situation, because I thought that this was really good, is that, like, sure, you're seeing other women, yet, what is it that you also really want from that? Because I think that men make themselves weak inherently when they're not really clear about what they want from the women that they're with. And they have what you call a different set of criteria for the girl they fuck versus the girl they're with, which means that you've pretty much decapitated the part of you that interacts with women on a primal level, like as if you're still not going to have to do that with the woman you're married to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're going to have to incorporate that part of you. And so you become kind of blurry. And that's where a lot of the fear comes in, because there's half of you that doesn't exist, right? So, and the same thing goes for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is it's like, what you're really looking for in your relationships, I think both of you, you're both kind of blurred to. You're looking for what he's intentional about, because then that maybe will make you feel safer. Like, like I can just give you a proclamation of what you call laying down the law of what I want in the home, and you'll agree to that because you're agreeable, and deep down you just want somebody who feels certain about something. But he just said, I hereby agree that me and you will drive off this cliff by this time, because that's what I like doing. And then once you start realizing that, you start ripping the relationship apart. So what I really see here is just a lack of clarity in terms of what you both value and what you both would really like from the partner you're with, because that's not something people do. It's just not, this will make you an exception to address that. So I'm curious how you interacted with her in the beginning, because she told me she's, opportunity cost was her answer. So what about you?
I couldn't hear you. She was coughing.
Yeah, I said, she told me opportunity cost was the way that she
yeah.
interacts with it. And what was it like for you? Like when you first saw her?
Yeah. After I got that long relationship, I told myself I'd give it a little bit of time. But I want to get married. I want to have more kids and find somebody that wants the same thing. And I was still in that like figuring out what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be phase when we met. And so, like I said, I was traveling a lot. I was in and out of Portland, and she was coming to Vegas occasionally. But I was still trying to figure it out.
That's cool. Was she part of your roster?
Was she?
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't like a huge roster.
It's okay. I'm just talking about a lot of the time. This is important.
Was she the main person, or was she part of the roster? Is that what
Yes.
you're trying to say? Yeah. Okay.
And by the way, this is a real relationship, just so you know, because you could have a guy that lies to your
Yeah.
face, and you could
Yeah.
remember that's what most women get, men that lie.
Yeah,
They're
100%.
almost rewarding it. So you're creating an honest space right here. Like
No, I'm okay. I'm fine.
that'll keep you guys safe. That'll make you feel safe.
I'm
Not
fine.
him. It's the truth that he's willing to bring into the relationship.
Well, I mean, at least for me, right? But I think most men, if they had a roster, they're trying to figure out which one is the one, right?
When they have a roster, not quite.
No.
I think that most men, even potentially you, have what you call, they meet a lot of their back end needs. And I usually use it that way, through a list of different women as a way to satisfy, you could even say, their sexual needs, like as if they're not deeply emotional, because they are, right? And then the main girl is going to be the one that you feel safe with, right? And you'll confuse that safety as you've removed all the other parts of yourself that make all of these relationships real, as in you are now seen. So it comes at a cost. You remove that part of you, you're no longer seen for that part of you. And then eventually you start to conform to a reality, which you both are doing. It's like, even women have it too. It's like, oh, there's the guys I fuck and the guys I'm serious about. The guys I'm serious about, I wait to the third date. And so I want to know if this was relevant in your relationship, where you found yourself taking it slower with her than you usually would with other girls.
I don't think necessarily. I don't think it was a slow, I didn't really have a motive to like just hook up with her. I really want to get to know her. I am very protective of my energy and who I spend time with. I don't just go have sex with people and randomly.
It's cool if you did. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
like
but I don't. I really don't. And so, yeah, I want to be intentional. And
so what would that look like? What kind of
Yeah.
intention were you setting in the beginning?
I mean,
Sorry.
yeah, I mean, my intention from the beginning was, and I might be wrong for this, is just how I approach it, is I have a very valuable life person. And so I want to make sure that that person's a very good person too. So
So I was vetted out pretty critically.
Tell me about that.
I mean, I text people that that I knew that were friends with her
to make sure that
before I even
wasn't
talked to her.
To make sure that I wasn't a fugazi sleeping around Portland, basically.
Yeah, sleeping around Portland?
Yeah.
Crazy.
No, but it was a very intense interview process. I would say it was like a series of about 15 questionnaires, and
Well, it's better that than none at all, right? But
and that's what made me feel like honestly safer with him, though, is when he would like want to critique me in a way and be like, hey, I need this from you, or I'm missing this part for a relationship. For him, it was a protective mechanism, but it did make me feel safer in a sense, because it showed me that he cared to invest like the effort and energy to get to know me.
There's no question about it. Like
Yeah.
I said, you guys are going to attract each other based off of core level traumas, not your principles. Because your principle is a process of a vetting system, which is a protective mechanism, which is in relationship to a trauma, right? I have the same thing. It's like, these are my values. Hereby agree or disagree. What I'm really saying is I'm scared as fuck. If you agree to this, I'm a little more open.
Aren't going to happen.
Right?
Yeah.
So the things that you value remain in their truth, not in your conviction. And so you can be an embodiment of those things. But really what brings two people together are these traumas, which is why it feels like you understand each other so deeply. Now, that's awesome. Thank God, because you're both looking for it. But if a lot of these things are unaddressed and there's wounding around it, I mean, what men do when they're wounded is they learn to sleep in the areas it doesn't hurt. They also learn to walk that way. They also learn to move that way. And then they start to confuse this as who they are. That's actually the wounded manifestation of you. Who you are, you don't even know. And I'm saying this myself because I've actually recognized that, like, I was in my last 2 podcasts, I was talking a lot about wounds that I've had in my life. And then I'm like, oh my God, wait, wounds? And it's like, well, it's changed my behavior with women completely. Like, what I ultimately believe and what I would like to express is not these things. And so then it's like, oh, well, do I value these things? Like, well, yeah, about 50% of them I don't. And you gather it up like a bunch of Jenga blocks and you throw it in the trash, right? And then you start really recognizing what you do value. So there's some liberation in that, but there's also a lot of fear. And so I'm just clearly getting familiar with both of you guys and how honest you were from the beginning. It doesn't seem like, you guys were both like really coming in there as a way to be like, this is who I am. I'm hiding all of these parts of me. Just because I know Carly, she's very forward and you seem to have that same characteristic. But I also think you guys are very guarded, very, very guarded, like emotionally guarded people. And I don't know, it's probably nothing anybody else would pick, but you have 2 people. You have the emotionally disconnected and then you have the emotionally immature, and they make the best couple.
Sure.
I'll leave it to you guys. Which one? Who thinks is who's who here?
I'm emotionally disconnected.
Yeah. All right. Let's go. Bravo. What about you, Mel?
Yeah, the emotionally mature.
Yeah. Let's go. That's me too. That's me too. So, like, it's actually really funny is that growing up, this is why I think it's really important for both of you guys to just kind of make a commitment together. And I think that's like that's an adventure. It's absolutely an adventure. There's some danger to it. I think that, in every adventure, if you take The Mummy Returns, do you like The Mummy? Brandon Fraser, a lot of fun. Fucking great, right? But there's a certain point where they get locked in a room together and he goes like, your incompetence got us here. And she's like, what are you fucking talking about? Your stubborn-headed ego put us in this fucking tomb that we need to find a way out of, right? So that's part of it. That's going to happen.
Sorry.
So yeah, I think that's ultimately what allows a relationship to work, this deeper commitment. But it starts with you and ends with you. And there's an underlying fullness that I think relationships really mirror. You've done a lot of what you needed to do, but relationships show you what you want to do. And there's something about that really allows you to realize there's heart involved, right? You're like, I survived. For what? And I think you're at a point where your eyes are upward. And when your eyes are upward, the existential question always brings up something here. And so what is existential is deeply intrinsic, and that's extraordinarily expansive, and that might be redefining. And that's difficult for men to interact with because it's so identity crushing. Relationships are identity crushing, especially when you've been traumatized, especially when you've been wounded. You create identities around wounds that conforms to their maintenance, so you don't have to address them. There's a certain point where somebody walks with a limp, and people ask why you walk with a limp, and you'd be like, well, I'm Lieutenant Dan with a limp. Right? And you never really addressed the fact that the question I was asking you is what happened? And if there's a certain point where they don't even know what happened, this is just who they are. And then when that happens, your guys are both fucked.
Yeah.
When this is who you are, emotionally unavailable, destructive, and highly narcissistic and capable, well, you'll get what you get when you're like that.
Yeah.
So, well, take the whole emotional immature and the emotionally disconnected. I thought that was a great place to start. And it's a good thing to start reassociating it to your development, to get more familiar with, what mom and dad were like, who was who. For my father was the emotionally disconnected one. Never had any problem with him because I don't know where he took it. Pretty sure on my mom, right? And then, my mother was the emotionally immature one. And so, of course, what I associate all of my emotional wounding to is to my mother. But the truth is that parents show these collective dysfunctions, right? And that changes your story because it's no longer your dad. It's most likely your mom, right? And so you have to be able to show the masculine and feminine, even when you have when I have serious mommy wounds, serious daddy wounds. It's like, actually, you have parental wounds. And that now leaves you vulnerable to both. Who you are, which is as a woman would be your mother, and as a man would be your father. And then also intrinsically to what completes that is also reflective of what's intrinsic. So What are you feeling about all of this, Mel?
I like it. I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like opening up about things, taking a peek back at the relationship. And I think if you can look back, it also helps you move forward. So,
Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of moving forward.
yeah.
And it's by going back.
Yep.
And that might feel counterintuitive. It's extraordinarily productive. So, yeah, well, understanding that you have a little bit more like this emotional immaturity, and I think both of this is what you would call emotional unavailability, whether one in its infancy or in its complete disconnect. I'm curious what would happen to her if we fucking plug that on. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a whole different person. And you could even say the same thing for you. Like you start to have the ability to express and experience this whole list of emotions. Maybe you're not who you say you are. And that goes the same for you. And then when you guys start talking about a relationship, we're talking about two people who know who they're with, right? You're relating.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is where it kind of gets a little ominous, like as in like, oh, who's the person I'm with if I open up my heart to these things? What am I really inviting? So what do you guys really fight about? What does that look like?
Honestly, we don't fight that often.
Yeah. I'm going to
We
ask
really
him that
don't.
question.
Do we? I don't think we do.
No, we don't.
We really don't.
I mean, in the initial, like, first beginning phase of the relationship,
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Because that's going to happen again.
I'm trying to think what we would fight about in the beginning.
I think with her, she does have a hard time being vulnerable and opening up, and connecting.
Yeah.
And we're both like very personable, and so we can have conversations.
Yeah, you guys can push each other away with your charm. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. But at some point, if you want to have a good, strong, long-term relationship, where it is successful, you have to connect. You have to like emotionally open up and connect.
This
So we
is
would
On a
fight
strong-
about
on a- that was in the beginning.
That's what we would fight about.
I
That's
would
really
tell
good.
her, hey, for this to work, you've got to open up, and we've got to have more connecting
that's powerful.
conversation.
That's really powerful.
Mhm.
That's actually funny when she like ended things with you, or I don't know who ended things with who. She
time?
came
I don't
here.
remember.
It was the second time. It was the second time I had you on. You were like, you explained something to him that he did, and I said, Carly, I was like, that's exactly what you wanted. Like, why would you punish that?
What
And you were like, oh, fuck, you're right. He was probably right. And you're right. It was just funny. Well, no, that's incredible that you had the ability to present that. Like, look, I'm hitting a wall here, and there's something I'm aware of.
Yeah.
And you're standing by that. That's great. That's not typical, by the way. That's not that you
Yeah.
won't usually get that. You'll get that from somebody who's fed up, tired,
Yeah.
emotionally exhausted,
Mhm.
and genuinely does not have the time for that. And I really understand how important it is to be able to just like, look, if this is going to continue happening, I'm out because I don't have the bandwidth for that. I could be there for the people I love. And I also think this is an opportunity for you to even expand your ability to be there in more ways,
Mhm.
which is, again, it goes back to a deeper commitment. So in the beginning, you would have a lot of that. What would that look like? Because that's still there, by the way, just letting you know.
Yeah, I agree.
That was like part of the interview process and critique.
Yeah, but what do you think? Like, one
So-
person, you get an interview, you get the job, but now you have to show up for the job. Now fucking
So I was
things are
showing
real.
up for the job, and then I had like my 1 month audit or review,
Yeah.
and this conversation would come up pretty regularly. Like,
I want to know what it would come up around because I really understand. I could really empathize with Mel here in this relation in this aspect of things, and I understand you and how much you protect yourself. So I empathize with that too, and that's kind of what this is home. This is like sweet like honey. This place right here, because this is everything. Because when you don't feel connected, what do you do?
Disconnect.
Yeah, I'll tell you. First, what happens? You get sad, right? You
Yeah.
get sad as fuck. I get sad as fuck. And well, when sometimes there's also, that's where the emotional immaturity comes in, right? The inability to feel sad, and you start to extend the blame to the other person.
Yeah.
And then when it becomes the other person, then in your mind there becomes another person. Now you don't show up to the relationship, right? Because like when you got a ring on your finger, or there's 2 kids, which is way more than a ring on your finger, you're bounded by blood for the rest of your life, as long as the children exist, which is, I think you want that to be the case. Well, yeah, you're going to start recognizing like, this is difficult. There will be times where she will shut down and you will have no fucking idea. And it could be when you just move in together. And you're like, that was fucking $5 million house and this is what I'm getting right now. I want it to break the bed. And instead what I'm getting is a fucking fight. And then you're like, I need you to open up, right? So that's where the emotional immaturity starts to come in. And you start to extend the blame to the other person. And then another person starts to be created in your head.
That's exactly what
and then you start to
happened.
create a narrative and a story.
Yes.
Okay. Is that what
That's
happened?
exactly what happened. Right?
Did it?
I think so.
Well, I think she could pick up on that a little bit more. But here's the good news. Like, clearly she made a commitment to address that or else you guys wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
You have to remember that both of you wouldn't be here. And you made the same commitment too. Of course, you guys can weave a deeper stitch. And I think that in the moments of conflict is the opportunity to weave a deeper stitch with your heart.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the path of your life, the purpose of your life. There's an underlying wholeness that you're putting through the conflict. So that's going to be a part of it. And yeah, and it was for you. When you get disconnected, what do you feel? When you feel there's a lack of connection? Be specific about the emotions. You don't need to explain the process.
Yeah. What do I feel when
you
we
feel disconnected?
from
Yeah.
her? I think early on in a relationship like this, you wonder if it's worth it. Like, okay, is it worth investing this time that I'm investing right now? Is this the person that I want to be with? Is the opportunity cost? You know, you start calculating that.
Yeah, I love that. Start calculating it. Sociopath meter increasing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you think about that, and you just, okay, is this worth it?
But what did you feel? Like,
That's what I felt.
So it's like fear?
Well, no, that's actually
No,
really, really good point. That you're charming, and you said that story really compellingly. It totally went over my head, but you actually didn't tell me what you felt.
Yeah.
When we were disconnected, I felt sad, honestly. Yeah.
Or was it like shame because you felt embarrassed that you invested time that maybe you wouldn't get something back on?
Well, one second. Don't ever do that when he's talking to me. You see that shit?
Yeah, sure.
That shit make you want to run out the fucking house. You're being
I
analyzed.
toned it out.
No, okay, because we're here. No, I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is an underlying feeling of sad and sadness. But I wanted to talk to you about your relationship with sadness, because this is something I've noticed with a lot of the male clients I work with, along with the female clients, is that there's an underlying shame in relationship to that feeling, because you're a very unique guy, okay? You look like the conventional piece everybody would like, but I'm gonna be honest, you're not for everybody. And that's what makes you so awesome. You're not for everybody. You're a deeply unique person. I could actually dislike you, which means that you're a human. That's beautiful, right? You know, like you start thinking that's a really good thing, because that means that you could really be loved for who you are.
Yep.
And especially there's like a different kind of, it's a different kind of responsibility, and it's the projection that you will be susceptible to from a lot of people. And you're going to be deeply vulnerable to women in that relationship, because, you know, beauty becomes all of your inner projections of what that would be. And then now you become susceptible to your own desires. And then I also think that when you feel connected to somebody, there's being seen. That's a big thing for you, to be seen. And there's many different ways to express that. That's expressed in sex. It's expressed in any environment where there's going to be an expression that requires you to be vulnerable. And when you think about, you know, getting naked or opening your heart, which one's more difficult? And I think we've kind of discovered that, you know, the opening your heart thing's more difficult.
For sure.
Yeah. So yeah, when you feel sad, what is your relationship to sadness?
But I think you said something that is probably more accurate. You don't feel seen.
Yeah.
You don't feel like, okay, this person doesn't get me. Like, we're not on the same.
So let's go back to that.
Yeah.
Now, there's many times in your life where you haven't felt connected with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You've clearly made it your effort to feel a sense of connection to yourself, because underlying that is a deep disappointment that it's very difficult to connect. And when there's that deep disappointment around connection, there's an underlying shame. Like, what's wrong with me? Why is this so tough? You know, do you feel that?
Now, no, I don't feel too much shame, but
so that means you've worked through that, but you do still feel sad.
Yeah.
When you're younger, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
To say that, by the way, when it doesn't,
I'll say even in my 20s, 30s, you know, like,
yeah,
you definitely think about that and you feel shame. Yeah.
What about sadness?
Yeah, I did. I mean, definitely felt sad. So I
What do you do when you feel sad and you resist it?
work.
Right.
Control things I can control.
Control things you can control.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, it's not just work. There's other things you
Yeah.
do too.
Yeah.
You find other options. And now that could be hurtful, especially when you give somebody your word. Because that's more
Yeah.
important. I mean, you want to live your life the way you do that.
Yeah.
But when you make a promise to somebody, you stand by that promise.
Yeah.
And I could say that that's more than likely what allowed you to be as successful as you are. You understand the value of your word and giving that to people. And you unravel that, man, I mean, you unravel a whole lot more.
Yeah.
It's best to stand under the weight of your truthful actions, although maybe poorly thought out. So that's that's the emotional immaturity, right? Because this is really awesome. I really like this because not many people understand that that's a really hard thing to communicate, especially when that's been rejected in the past. Because, that's the beginning of the conversation. She gets disconnected, which will 100% happen. Like, just 100%. And the worst part is you're into it.
No, he hates it.
Well, he's into you. He's into you, and that
No,
comes
he
with you.
he hates that. When I disconnect, he hates it.
Yeah.
It turns him off instantly.
Instantly. And then you have to find Mel again.
Yeah, and it's so much work to like reconnect and like put in the effort again and be like, listen, like I'm here for you, like I'm safe. It's like, oh, we got to revamp everything once.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because what happens when you're disconnected, he gets shut down.
Literally.
And then, by the way,
you gotta
that's also another thing. I think that for you, the nature of talking to men about emotions is it's immediately like bitch inducing, whatever that means. It's just like, oh, fuck, the bitch is in me, right? And you're like, whoa, like this is going to make you an extraordinary father. And by the way, a to die for husband. Like, do you want that? This could be the rest of your life. Like your grandkids will start going like Grandpa Mel. Like they will remember you. They will know you. All right? Because you have a heart.
Yeah.
And that's, my God, like you start realizing that when you guys are good with each other, you'll see each other as children.
Yeah.
Love that.
You'll see each other as children. And I was this one valet guy that I get to talk to every Sunday. I was crying like crazy today because he just was like the one person you would never expect to be there for you is the guy I get coffee with every Sunday. And I told something. I said something to him that was a few weeks ago, and I said, man, if we were kids, we'd be such good friends. Like, what are you talking about? We are kids.
Oh.
And I was like, man, that is so beautiful.
So
It's like,
beautiful.
yeah, the people you really connect with, you get to experience each other like you were children again. But there's no concept of masculinity there. Do you know that the survival mechanism creates the concept because it's a great way to protect you, to control an outcome. And the same thing goes for you. It's like, hot girl central. Like maybe you're disconnected because inherently what you feel is primarily rage and shame. Like you have to start thinking about why somebody would be disconnected to begin with. And I think that the people who are emotionally immature feel that the weight of their sensitivity is a burden. And so, yeah, I wanted to kind of get more into what happens. How do you get out of that? What gets you guys back to home? I'm just curious. When you're disconnected, you're on a road trip, she shuts down completely, you don't feel connected to her, you start feeling super sad, you reach for your phone, Veronica texts you out of nowhere because the universe works that way.
Always.
You send Veronica a text, you're like, what's going on?
Die.
And you'd be like, it's happening. No.
Jenny.
Jenny, what's going on? And you're like, it's happening again. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for years or in the past, like I definitely, I'm way more conscious about.
Let's say that still exists. Let's say that still exists. It doesn't? Oh, I wouldn't be too sure.
Yeah, I shut it down.
Well, then you don't want to become.
Wait, within like the last 2 months, or like how soon did we?
Like messages?
No, I did. Just
Look,
like what he's
the
talking
universe
Oh, shut
works
down.
this way.
Yeah.
When you're sad, she's disconnected. There's a girl in the past, and somehow
Oh, for sure.
it fucking hits the ether, and they're blowing up your phone. The timing of it. Or by the way,
Yeah.
this is what I'm trying to say. You're not ahead of that. Don't think you're ahead of that. You don't want to be ahead of that because you'll be stuck if you do that.
Well, I just explain ahead of it.
I'll explain. A lot of the times, the things that we've worked on, like just like this, for example, Carly did it too. It's called emotional. You emotionally dismiss yourself, and by doing that, you remain susceptible to the thing you emotionally dismissed because you're not recognizing it. And so she did it too. She's like, new relationship now. Grabs your thigh. Oh, okay. No, those things happened, and you're like, well, not really. Watch it. You know, like that's actually one of the works you have to do to help people reassociate to experiences, to get them emotionally well. You have to notice the times they were emotionally rejected, neglected, or had no room to express it. And then they're like, well, it's fine. You know, I wasn't raped as a kid, so I shouldn't have to talk about it. And you're like, oh, so you have to be like beaten half to death in order for you to talk about something? Like, this, welcome to humanity. You're sensitive. This is part of something this is an evolution of consciousness. You have more than your bones. So yeah, the dangers of that is that eventually you start to mask a wound in the name of your progress. Like a father and a son, and he has a better relationship with his dad, but for the last 21 years, his dad beat him. But then over the last 5, they've managed to develop a relationship, and what does he do? Me and my dad are tight now. No, you and your dad are better,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so the same thing goes for you, is that's part of the emotional maturity. Going, that's still there. I'm better. What happens when you do that? You start really recognizing what you're committed to.
Yeah.
Because you don't just heal wounds by like, oh, great, perfect, Band-Aid, you know?
Yeah.
That's what you guys both do. You Band-Aid that. That's going to happen again. And by the way, when that happens again, and there's more investment in the relationship, it comes at a higher consequence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then, by the way, that's where the self-hatred happens. For you, it's going to be towards yourself like nothing else. I mean, both of you are going to have it, you know, and I think that you're going to have it in relationship to your emotions. Like, fucking, they came up, I shut down, that happened, that disconnected him, I'm responsible for this thing. And
I
you'll
feel
actually
that
start to
now.
defend it. You'll start to defend his behaviors, and that doesn't help him either.
I swear to you, Naftali, I do that currently.
Mm.
That's exactly what I do.
This could be so much fun. Wow, we're just like
I
getting
defend
started.
his behaviors.
Yeah, you start defending his behaviors. And by the way,
100%.
when she does that, she starts emotionally dismissing herself and then becomes disconnected. And
That's
that
it.
makes
It's a
you feel
cycle.
disconnected. And
cycle.
you guys feed each other's dysfunctions, right? So
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
that's so
midst of
true.
the dysfunction, you guys need to learn the one thing you are going to, that you're going to learn how to do the one thing you've told yourself never to do in that particular environment. And the expression goes like this: I'm going to see myself in a space I've never been. No, in the space I like to see myself the least and open my heart the most I ever have. That's vulnerability.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, if you guys both can't be real that idea sounds like shit, then there's nothing to talk about.
Sounds horrible.
Mm-hmm. Was it
Scary. Yeah.
scary? What else?
Please hold. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary, but it's also exciting to me because
It's exciting to me too, for sure.
because you have to, I feel like you're progressing when you're dealing with that stuff.
Yeah, you are. But, you know, you're also falling on a sword that you've trained yourself to avoid your whole life. Vulnerability is subtle impalement. Yeah, there's no turning your shoulder with it. You fall on that sword.
Yeah.
You kill an identity when you do. You know, the biblical expression is that, you know, a man shall leave his father and his mother's home, which I thought was really, that's what God tells Adam and Eve, and they shall become one flesh. And there's something interesting about the leaving of the father and mother's home. It means that they both become their own individuals. They've integrated the foundation. And so both of you guys have foundational ones. And this creates your understanding of reality. And then that's conformed through your experiences. But your experiences are removed from their wisdom. And when you remove an experience from your wisdom, it just becomes your experiences. In fact, you become deterministic and confuse that for wisdom. No, the experience exposed you to the truth of reality. And whatever you guys will discover together, you can go back to every one of your old relationships, and even the one that you've had with the people that were your primary lovers, your mom and dad. The people that gave you it, and not only gave you that, they were the people you felt all of your love for.
So are you saying it's beneficial to go back to those times and discuss that with your partner?
You know, you could find a place to share that with people that are close to you. It doesn't have to be exclusively with your partner.
Oh, okay.
I would say that you want to embody the work that you share anywhere. If you were to work with me, if you were to work with somebody else, if you were to find a therapist, somebody who's really good, that's the dangers. You kind of need to find people that are good. That's kind of rare.
Yeah.
And once that happens, you know, you guys can start sharing this together. You know, I mean, you start thinking about when men and women come close to each other, it's terrifying because it's disiluding of so much you've made yourself up to this point, and it's deeply healing. You know, and when you guys are healing, you're healing the spaces you've trained yourself to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm trying to say here, is that in the conflict, you guys won't be vulnerable with each other after this when there's nothing there. It's like when the conflict happens, the dysfunction is there. Where there's a dysfunction, there's an opportunity to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And in a lot of ways, you guys heal dysfunctions because dysfunctions are a byproduct of wounds. They're the areas you train not to walk.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you guys both trying to show each other? And of course, deep down, you're trying to show yourself how to walk again. That's love. You know, you show yourself how to walk again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think you start defending his behaviors. You start dismissing what you feel.
Mm-hmm.
That fucks you over. Because if she's dismissing what she feels, then you feel disconnected from her.
I think too, like, I don't want to feel too much because I don't want to be like a burden. And so there's like a sense of shame with like feeling.
Hey, that's really good. You want to know something about all people who are disconnected?
Yeah.
Shame. All of them.
Yeah.
Shame. When I'm disconnected, I'm just like, oh, fucking, I'm convincing her to show up. You know, I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, this is my shame cycle. You know, I feel like a burden when I feel. I don't want to put that on other people that I'm sad and I crave connection. Fuck.
That's how I feel.
Fuck. You know, like I have a date tonight. Man, oh no, I'm going to have to be truthful. You know, because my definition of truthful used to be genuinely, that was my understanding of truthful. But now I know this part of me and I'm like, okay, that whole truth thing, you know, I swivel my chair to the right. And like, I find a way to perform with emotions, explain them. And I'm like,
That's what you do.
Do it.
yeah, you get pretty. You get pretty. You fucking pull out the pen and paper, and the poetry is fucking
He's so
slick.
charming. The way he says shit sometimes, I'm just like, okay.
Yes, you're like, wow, what an intellectualization.
Right? I'm like, no, it's not how you feel, but that makes logical sense.
I like that. Yeah, all right. Yeah. So yeah, I want to know a little bit about, let's go back to you, Mel, here, because I think she's sharing a lot about her shame, which was the thing I mentioned actually in the last one. For any of you guys can literally watch that and you can get a better idea that I kept making that very clear to you. Is that, yeah, there is an underlying shame that you have. And I think it'd be good for you to just be able to recognize that to be a woman is to be a burden. And you have that deep down in your belief system. And that's the thing about wounds, is they shape beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, to be deeply sensitive, to be deeply vulnerable, like to have my heart open. And it's like every single guy in the world is like, I want her heart, you know, like, please, can I have that? You know, and then, but of course, due to your own wounds, you have this relationship with them where you feel like it's a burden. Mm-hmm. It's actually the thing that he wants.
You want me to be a burden?
No, he wants your heart. But that heart thing, the thing that you feel too much about,
not a burden.
Is the one thing he wants. And so like, yeah, that you could see that like you guys are a really good fit for each other because you guys have the same dysfunctions, but also ultimately the same wounds, which means that you ultimately have the same ability to heal those wounds.
Mm-hmm.
But man, you guys want to know why it's comforting to have dysfunctions that you're aware of that you can feed in other people?
Why?
They'll always stay.
They'll always stay. You mean they'll always come back up?
Well, it's a way to control the person.
Oh.
If I heal them, then maybe potentially I won't feel the same way about them. But if we can just keep playing this elongated game of pass, because eventually you become more and more elaborate about avoiding dysfunctions. You know, couples have a harder and harder time listening to each other as they get older and older. It's almost like they train each other to not listen. Mm-hmm. It's like evolutionary to avoid the one thing she kept saying, address this. And she just turns into a mute. And he just starts opening up the newspaper.
Literally.
Right?
I've seen that so many times.
Do you know what's so funny? That I never thought that I'd be that guy who wakes up in the morning and looks at his girlfriend, the woman he loved, you know, and I had a vision of this once where it was the woman I loved and our baby together was in the same room, but just off to the right. And I got up and it was like it's like just as real as this. And I looked to my left and I see her there and I felt nothing for her. And that's when I was like, I have a wall on my heart. And she's so confirming of that path. There isn't a thing I can tell her except thank you. Thank you for showing me how close my heart is. Because if I wake up one morning and I look at you and I go, baby, where's the love? Where's my love? And I think that's what every woman represents to a man. It's like, where's my love? And you know, it's so damn difficult. Because you ever think about the subtle expectations you guys have from each other? She needs to meet something so damn deep in your heart that only you can understand. And well, for her, she has the exact same kind of thing. It's just going to be in more like externally manifested in terms of security that allows her to be herself. So you need to be something that allows her to be herself. And she needs to have a kind of availability that allows you to open your heart. That's impossible. Because I wish you understood how deeply complex that is. Like you guys don't even understand each other. Like fuck, if you were, let's just say, I don't know, his therapist, but there's a different body and it wasn't that. And then there was another therapist that you're really close with that gives you like a progress report of everything that he is. And you got to experience that. I think you would have a much deeper understanding of him. Mm-hmm. And that understanding from the feminine perspective to a man, I don't think you have because you're disconnected. Like that's part of also for you too, is that you kind of lack that internal understanding. That's what creates the emotional immaturity a little bit. It's like, well, if I had an understanding of this, then I'd feel it. You know, like, what's most true about me? Is it to hit up Julia after I get this disconnect with the girl that I'm with? Like, is this the kind of man that I want to be? Recognizing that the emotion is where the liberation is. And to also think that that doesn't connect you deeper with yourself. Dude, I fucking get it. When you're a hungry soul, you're a hungry soul. You're both very, very hungry people. And that means deep, deep, passionate love. But it also means you will rip each other to shreds when you don't get it. Because, you know, you're no longer babies anymore. You know, you're no longer little children. You know, your mother couldn't give you that love. Your father couldn't be there for you to keep you safe or whatever it is. And you go to reach your hand out and it gets hit. And you go to reach your hand out and it gets hit. Children are so resilient. You have to remember this.
Yeah.
You weren't just rejected once as a kid. You were probably close to rejected 100,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
More.
You know, yeah, of course, or more.
Yeah.
But you start thinking about all the subtle times that's happening
All day.
throughout your development, all day, every second. I mean, to break a child's spirit. I mean, what do you think you guys are doing? You guys are going back to the past, and you're reaching out your hand to that little girl and to that little boy, and you're saying, we're gonna do this. And he's like, no, we're not gonna do this. And you're like, I understand. And then he'll cry. And by the way, the thing about children is that they're so strong, and it's something interesting is that, you know, what kind of man are you if you're not connected to the child you've always been? And if it's removed from that, I wouldn't call that a man. I just call that an advanced survival mechanism. And so, like, there's a deep, deep heart in the child. And I think both of you need to work on that, like a deep, deep heart. And by the way, children are so much stronger than we think. And I think both of you guys have children, so you really understand that. I'm kind of like a neighbor looking over the fence. I have my nieces and nephews, and I recognize that their resilience in relationship to love and what they'd be willing to do to get it. And also I recognize how strong they are. And they have the ability to do what I think even you're recognizing here, which is just to be like, you know, I feel really, really sad when that happens. Because you'd love this, by the way, when I had the podcast with her, and I just started talking about some of the things that I was feeling about what she was saying, just as a personal relationship, completely dismissed it. She didn't dismiss it. She turned into a cosmic being that was vicious as can be. And the idea of having her consider any of the things that you felt would be only followed by pity.
Really true.
Right?
That's horrible.
But that's your survival mechanism.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing. I wanted you to get a little more aware of it. And then I was like, Carly, like, you know, I just felt so completely dismissed. Like I was just trying to open up to you. I was
first
like, I feel,
podcast?
second one. And I said, I feel really, really sad. And you said, what? What's wrong with you? You feel sad?
Did you?
What's wrong with me? I feel sad. Now, first off, I just said, look, I'm not hurt. I understand you. Don't worry. I'm not expecting you to meet this. Like,
I agree.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
And so I told her, she said, well, what's wrong with you? You feel sad? And she goes to Jake and she's like, Jake, do you feel sad? And he's like, yeah, I feel sad. And she's like, fuck's wrong with you guys? She crosses her legs like she's a fucking cowboy and sips her coffee. And she gets back on her fucking plane to nowhere town.
And all that in between that, she said, I asked her, I said, do you ever feel sad? And she went, no.
This is what I'm talking about, right? Now, look.
Yeah, we had conversations around this when we
We
first
have.
met. Yeah.
Really?
Multiple,
Okay. Well,
yeah.
you guys are definitely making progress with it.
Yeah.
We have.
Oh, dude, you wouldn't fucking believe it. When you guys were in the rocky roads together, the walks.
the rapids.
What are you about to say right now?
I don't know what
Hold
happened to
on.
her. I don't know what happened to her. It was like she dipped out, like completely dipped out.
I
Now
was
remember,
gone.
now look, I'm deeply intuitive. I'm like you. You're
Yeah.
very sensitive. You're very, very sensitive, and that might be something you're working on your relationship
Yeah.
with that because
Yeah.
you're gonna have to. You know, if you're speaking to 5,000 people, it might be like 10,000 in the next couple of years if you open your heart. You know, you might have the room for it. And yeah, and then you.
I did dip out. You're right.
Yeah, and I remember this happened. I was like, what's going on, Carly? She's like, nothing, everything's great. I was like, okay. I feel super disconnected from you, and right now I need to know of whether or not you're showing up for this business because we're scaling the fuck out of it, and you're managing people under you. She's like, I'm there, I'm doing my job. What the fuck's wrong with you? Why don't you think I'm doing my job? And it's like, okay,
I
look.
did not say it like that.
In other words, I said, really quick, I'm going to address this with you. Here's everything that has happened to you in the last couple weeks. I know why you're avoiding me because you're avoiding this. And I had to break it down to the certain point where she was like, you're right. I am so overwhelmed and I need to cry and I feel super sad.
I cried.
And it was like, oh, there you are. And then shortly as that started to happen, she started piecing back the picture of everything that happened. And now you're back here. But to think that she doesn't do it in the back end, like you guys share the exact same thing. And I think it's really good to pay attention to it. But also to just learn compassion, both of you. Because I understand her very deeply, probably better than she understands herself. Now, that's not a virtue that I do that. And I'm also not saying that because it's extraordinary that I can understand her. I'm saying that you should have a deeper understanding than any person has of you, ever.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have that, you can give it to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you fear looking back at the relationship because it might be confirming of the things that you're deeply terrified of, but it's also the things that you poorly understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you had that, and also I think with you too, there would be a lot more security, but it'd be security rooted in truth. And that's what compassion is. And both of you, I don't think you've had that growing up. That's a virtue. That's a very, very powerful virtue to have. And so when these things would happen, Mel, how often would you feel this disconnect, and what would you do? I want you to get more familiar with what you did and then kind of see how that still exists here. We're going to...
Sorry. Just wanted to pause while I cough. Okay, I'm okay.
Yeah, every time it would happen, I would always bring it up to her. Just say, like, if this is going to work, like, if I'm going to invest this time and energy, I have to feel connected to you, and I don't feel connected right now. And so we've got to work on that.
When you hear that, what's your reaction?
So when I first initially heard it, the wheels in my brain were turning, like the logical part. I'm like, okay, looking up ways online. How do I be vulnerable? Like literally ChatGPT. What kind of
ChatGPT will tell you.
what kind of conversations can we have to like create connection? Like that's what I'm searching. And then I tried that. It didn't work. Nothing worked. And so then I'm like, then after that, I'm feeling really kind of angry, honestly. I was annoyed. I was just like...
That's a good thing, by the way.
I was just like, you're putting this all on me, but connection takes like two people.
Nice. So you reacted and extended blame.
Yes. Because I was
as a way to interact with a shame you didn't know how to experience.
Correct. And then thirdly, after that, I realized I felt shameful because I was like, why am I not good enough to like feel this connection?
Beautiful. That's the beginning of reconnecting a disconnected person. Shame.
Yeah.
When Adam and Eve ate of the fruit, tree of knowledge of good and evil, the first thing they felt was shame for their nakedness. That's the beginning of the relationship with it consciously. Mm-hmm. So if you can't feel shame, you can't develop your consciousness around your behaviors either.
Yeah.
And you also can't develop relationship with your emotions, which will initially, in their juvenile introduction to you, will be shameful. Mm-hmm. And by the way, man, when she improves this, you're going to start feeling shame. Because you're like, wait, I have more emotions and she's open to receive them. Fuck, I'm closed off. I'm a rubber band with this much, you know?
Can we tell him about the breakthrough that we had like recently?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. The emotional breakdown, like when you told me that one day.
Yeah. Sure.
You share it? You want me to share?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay, so I felt like we had a breakdown or a breakthrough recently. Mel called me, like a situation had happened. It was pretty upsetting, like a really kind of shitty situation. And he called me crying. And he like felt really like comfortable coming to me to talk about his emotions and his feelings. And it made me feel like so much closer to him in so many ways. And I think it like bridged that connection even more after that happened. And it made me like want to be more comfortable doing stuff and like sharing my emotions like that too. So I was really proud of that because I felt like we had came a long way from the beginning of the relationship where neither one of us would like normally typically share something like that.
Yeah. But that's the thing that I wanted to talk to you about, which is after you do something like that, you have that kind of opening up. Where do you find yourself flipping to? Because there's going to be a state of openness, and then there's going to be a state of protection. And that's if you know, you got to know both of you. Yeah. And I mean that because they're both you. Your finger's on the switch, and you need both.
Yeah.
So yeah, where does your head go after that? And I make a distinction. Like, what do you find yourself doing? You have this big night of opening up to her, and then like you sober up from all of your emotions and deep feeling. Because by the way, you need that. You need that.
What I just do.
Yeah. What did I just do? Fuck! I just gave her ammo. Like, do you find yourself having? What are the narratives?
So, I think so. I'll go back like a few years before this. I joined a coaching group. I was part of a men's group, and it's primarily focused around being vulnerable with men. with problems, with I mean, there's 50 other guys in this group.
Yeah, try women.
Yeah, but you have to be very intimate and vulnerable about what's going on in your life. Um, from that, I gained a lot of tools that I use now. For example, with that, before that would have, 4 or 5 years ago, if that would have happened, I probably would have thought like, honestly, I probably would have called her. I would have called somebody else.
No, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You've invested into this, as is she,
Yeah.
this is really beautiful, by the way, because you're looking at something that's much deeper than both of your understanding of yourself. That is actually reflective of who you are, right? Because when we talk about who is the person, it's not your trauma, it's not your thoughts, it's not your emotions. It's not even the ideas that were taught to you growing up. It's not your parents. It's not the environment that you surrounded yourself in. The person is in these choices, and you could see that. And that's, by the way, when you see a person,
I agree.
it's like a glimpse of God, because you're made in His image, and that's where you're like, where's that? I'm moved by this for me. I'm moved by this for me. And I think that there's something interesting about what beauty represents to men, is that it inspires this intrinsic greatness that we're aware of. It reminds us of a goodness that we have in ourselves. And then like when we get that, there's like an understanding wholeness to us, right? We no longer kind of extend that to the partner. So, and this, by the way, there's so much light in that. So that's impressive that you're able to recognize that, like, when given the opportunity, you'll take it.
Yeah.
That's who Mel is. You get rid of everything else. In those things, when he made that choice, regardless of him opening up, you want to know the kind of person he is. He was willing to make that sacrifice to come closer to who he might become. By the way, when you look at it that way, it wasn't just him opening up his heart. It was him showing you who he is. And there will be different areas in a person's life where they will do it. It'll have different manifestations. Not all the time will it have not all the time will it have tears. Sometimes it will have a ferocity that will make you question if the person is good. Yeah. And that's vulnerability too. Being the meanest son of a bitch that ever walked planet Earth to say something that you need to say about something that somebody did. Yup.
Yup.
You get vicious?
Yeah, of course.
Hell yeah.
Of course. Of course.
I will go back to what you were saying just for a second. A good friend of mine years ago said, if you want more of something, give it away. And it's always kind of stuck with me.
That's really powerful.
If I wanted her to be more vulnerable and connect, I have to give a lot of that away. And mirror, in turn, she will give me the same.
You know, it's so powerful that when you're connected to somebody, the conversation you want to have is typically the one that you're too afraid to start. And that's by the way, that's the male responsibility right there. You'll start that dance. You'll extend that hand. And this is for every woman to understand. How is a guy vulnerable? When a guy goes like this to you to start that dance, he is extending every single part of himself to you while doing it. And so, yeah, of course you're risking all of your resources. You're risking your physical health, your emotional health. And there's a tremendous amount of strength in that. And by the way, those are the moments where you really get to see the beauty of a person. Because you're not aware of how hard that is. You're not aware of how hard that is. And, an emotionally unwell person would perceive that as weakness. And to think that, we're not surrounded by the emotionally unwell, like, oh yeah, big time. And to think that you weren't the emotionally unwell and still aren't becoming more well, yeah, and you're just at the beginning of that for you. And by the way, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because I remember I told her, you're just a beginner coach. I'm like, fuck me, beginner coach, charge it $100 grand,
Everybody's
beginner my
until
ass.
they're not
right?
a beginner, yeah. Exactly.
And I was super I was heartbroken. I was like, what do you mean I'm a beginner? And I was told this by my mentor. And he's like, if you're a beginner now, and you could accept you're a beginner, who you can become is real. And then I became inspired.
Yeah, that's true.
I became so inspired. I became okay with being a beginner. And so the same thing for both of you. It's like, I'll accept I'm a beginner here.
Yeah.
Because you're actually embodying it now. You went to your men's group. Now you're performing your men's group.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, you know it. And so do you. You already have this. And so, yeah, moving forward, what do you feel like you guys are going to be, what do you think is going to be the biggest obstacle other than this?
For me, I think it's going to be Wait, are we talking about like tangible like things here? Or are we talking about like mental like connection stuff?
We're talking about everything that has to do with your hearts, both of you.
Oh, okay.
The relationship integrity.
Well, for me to like progress the relationship, I need to be like closer in proximity wise, I think. And so I think logistically it's going to be a lot of variables that we need to manage and calculate together. So
You guys are wonderful. It's something I wanted to, something I wanted
That's such a
to,
Carly thing to say.
yeah, something I wanted to point out.
I don't feel sad.
I don't feel sad. Like she says that in the middle of it.
So like,
No, this is what I'm also trying to say. Like
Yeah.
I think that there's what you call it's called leveraging, right? And this is kind of what I see you guys have created as your survival mechanism. This is not called relating. This is not loving. Doesn't mean what you're doing is bad. It's the most human thing you could ever do. And it's when you start speaking to him subtly about what you need to be available so that he can feel connected to you. That's the dysfunction talking. The truth about what you feel at the moment is deeply close to him, probably closer than you felt to anyone in your whole life, and that terrifies you.
Mm-hmm.
And the product of that is making you recognize a lot of this emotional unavailability you have, and you feel deeply ashamed. Being closer to him won't make you closer to him. And I think that that's important for you to address, that you need to come closer to yourself. And he's a connection man. He knows that he knows what he wants. He's made that very clear from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think for you, it's going to be very, very difficult to be really sad, because you're a grown man now,
Yeah.
you know? And when this has been playing out for 44 years, it has a different effect on you. It's going to cause you to go deeper than you're comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to make you look deeper than you ever have. Are you a religious person?
Yeah.
Yeah. Of any particular faith?
Mormon.
Mormon. Okay, interesting. What is your relationship with God like?
Ooh. It's actually getting better and better right now. You know, I had some time where I was, you know, you get divorced, you go through life, and like you question things, and you try to have a good relationship with God. I think over the last probably year, 2 years, it's become a lot more apparent, and it's growing. My relationship with God's growing.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I really like that. So one of the things is make sure that for you, don't confuse better for taken care of. And she has that emotionally. Like that's part of, you guys really mirror each other very deeply. Like for you, you don't resolve a lot of things. You choose not to resolve them. And then you start to, like, because you don't resolve them, you start to remove yourself from the behavior of how somebody hurts you. And then you begin to dismiss yourself. And I promise you, when he opens up, you're going to dismiss the fuck out of him when it's a conflict. And he won't be around for that. He won't be around for that. Being dismissed when you open up, if you understood how much it took from him.
Wait, do you feel like I've ever dismissed you when you've opened up to me?
No,
No. I feel like I've been able to handle his emotions pretty well.
but I do think she has a tendency to do that for sure.
I like have to focus really hard, honestly. Like when he's being open with me, I have to like live in the moment and like feel like what he's saying to me, or else it's very easy for me to like logically answer. Instead, I'm learning to like listen more.
Well, I think that time when I called and I was crying about the situation that happened to me, or that happened and affected me pretty deep, I was really surprised by her answer. It wasn't like this calculated.
Like plan.
It was 100%, yeah. And she was open. She was just felt empathy with me, you know, and compassion, which in turn made me connect more and trust her more.
Yeah, it's
my
really,
emotions.
by the way, I think that's important for everyone to hear, which is like,
Yeah.
yeah, when you're received for that space genuinely, you could tell when it's somebody just likes to feel that they're powerful, which is actually something that happens to a lot of disembodied women.
Yeah.
That they say they want it, but really they want it as a way to allow themselves to feel connected to their emotions. It's like the only way they could feel it is by having a guy to open up for something that they have a very poor relationship with. But ultimately what that is somebody who's disembodied. And so what they like to feel is like psychologically validated through the person being like that because they feel powerful around it. And so they have to they've removed themselves from all of their ability to feel themselves so that they could feel themselves through other people, but only as an overseer, not as a person who goes, I'm sorry with you,
Yeah.
not sorry for you.
Yeah,
And
that makes sense.
yeah, no, I think that you guys have what you call a good foundation. And I think what I mentioned about your relationship with God, which is deeply pay attention to how things that you have overcome are very, very different than things you've been working on. And I think
for sure.
you tell me what's the difference.
With explain the question one more.
So
things you've overcome
Mm-hmm.
versus things you are currently working on, that you've actively been working on making progress on.
Like how is it? What's the difference between the two? Well, I think the things I'm overcoming now versus the things I've already overcome. Uh, I don't know. I guess I'm having a hard time connecting that a little bit.
Yeah, it's a difficult question to
Yeah.
connect with, because it's like, wait, what is the difference? It's like, well, you want to know that difference because there are things that you've overcome, and there's something about things that you've overcome. You fully integrated them. They're like there. You could feel them. You know, it's completely transformed you. Anything you've overcome has transformed you. Anything you are working on is still reoccurring. And
Got it.
sometimes we
Yeah.
get like really upset about it because we have big breakthroughs with what we're working on. But what keeps you stuck is when you think you've overcame it. And also the whole point is, it's like, I'm going to fucking overcome it when I overcome it. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
don't rush forgiveness either.
Yeah.
Because forgiveness is a process, not a proclamation,
I agree.
right? And
Yeah.
when you start going through these things, you start becoming in the process of you being with that. And so that's for you. That's what you really want. Because, oh, I see you transforming. Like, you have wings, man. And that they're just, that there's so much more to you, you know? And that's terrifying, you know, because like, this is already what I have done so far. And it's like, well, if I'm exposing you to an arm that you've had numb for so long, and then you're starting to get sensation in it, I mean, that's changing your story,
Yeah, for sure.
right? That's changing the way you walk. So this is a healing a wound is really more revealing of everything you can become, not just what you've made yourself due to the circumstances. It's an opportunity to choose who you can become. You can choose
Agree.
that. So I would say for you, it's going to be, I mentioned God
Mhm.
specifically because it's going to mirror a lot of what your relationship's going to look like. And I can speak for myself here is that, you know, I had this other podcast with this one guy who was deeply, deeply connected. He understood surrender. I didn't.
Mm.
I was like, the fuck is surrender? You mean suicide? Like, this is suicide. Like, logically, I almost felt pride in how much I could suffer emotionally.
Mm.
And it was like, great, because I had a really good construct of why surrender is absurd, right? And then I recognized that, you know, developmentally, my understanding of God was shaped through my relationship with my parents. And that's not something you want to maintain. And I realized that what I had no understanding of, the incomprehensible, is what it is to believe in God. And then I also realized that love has a lot of incomprehensibility, especially the love you want. It feels incomprehensible.
Yeah.
And so if you're willing to surrender to that kind of love, yeah, you're surrendering to the incomprehensible. And you have to start asking about your resistance to that, that the possibility of the relationship that you're looking for and the kind of life that you can live, and to think about how deep that love is and that that's something you are here to give. I mean, it can move you to tears. There wouldn't be a morning you wake up without that. I mean, I know what it is to be a deep feeler, man. Like, I always tell myself, okay, what it used to be is good emotions, great, congrats, a little breathing, good to feel that, back to you. No. That's me. That's me. And I'm not comfortable living that way, because that way reminds me of my wholeness. And so I recognize that I think for your future, what's really going to be the thing you're going to get really strong with is your relationship with God. Because I promise you, what you're willing to do there, she's willing to do for you.
Yeah.
And, you know, trying to understand women is a ridiculous pursuit.
True.
Yeah. All right. Well, God bless both of you guys. Thank you so much for coming. What came up for you guys? I wanted to know just some final thoughts on how did you feel about today's conversation?
I really liked how you spoke about the cycle of disconnection versus protection, and how I defend a lot of his actions or behaviors, which in turn makes me disconnect more.
Yes.
That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah,
And
which in turn makes him everything that you're terrified of.
like, that's probably like a large portion of what our relationship has been, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious. I hear this from you. What are we going to do about it, Mel? She just puts it on your ass.
No, I think what it made me realize is that I need to be more truthful with my emotions when they come up, and more honest with them when I'm feeling them, instead of what I try to do is I logically try to process them first. And then once I have like a explanation of why I'm feeling that way, then I'll present it to Mel usually. But moving forward, I think if an emotion comes up, I just need to be a little bit more transparent about feeling that, and just be like more upfront and honest about
Well, I think as a survival mechanism, she's had to be that way. You know?
That's the understanding component.
She's dismissed her emotion to be and say, no, I'm good. I'm happy. I'm not hurt.
Yeah.
That shit was insane, by the way. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm not hurt. It's like, dude, you're grieving. You're like in straight up pain.
Yeah.
When
Oh, I remember that when you
broke
guys
up with me and I was unwell.
Yeah, you were deeply unwell. By the way,
unwell.
you were emotionally disregarding yourself, and you were so convicted in this. Fuck him. Like, you're not aware of how hatred is too damn close to love. Like,
it's right there.
You've been hurt by somebody you love, and that's hatred.
Yeah, I was pretty mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no clarity in that, but what I'm trying to say
told
is
you I
that
was mad. I don't think that ever came up. Like, no. Like,
she played it so cool with you.
I played it so cool.
You were
and
like, I guess I'm not even important. You get some more sad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I love your sensitivity, man. It's really refreshing because I don't get many conversations like this. I don't get many conversations like this. I also don't meet many men like you.
Yeah.
Okay, so what came up for you?
The God piece, for sure. Absolutely. I think as we've got closer, I had moments in my life where I was like really connected to God. I knocked on doors for 2 years as a missionary, read scriptures every day, prayed every day. I mean, I still pray every day. But over the last 2 to 3 months, I've got this inclination to like get closer, especially since we've got closer. I think
Do you see that? Do you see that?
hand,
That's what I'm trying to say is that this much deeper. You're actually quite advanced. And you know what I said to you earlier is like, I believe I'm deeply authentic. And I said, do you mind if I challenge that?
Yeah.
I only said that because I was asking a question. I didn't feel that I needed to.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that I needed to. And that was always one thing she said about you is that you're very truthful.
Yeah, for sure.
And the only times you're not truthful is when you're not real with what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And that's, by the way, I think
yeah.
a core value you have, truth.
Yeah.
Keep that close. You'll keep her safe.
Yeah.
And I think the question about God, I mean, that's a different, I would love to continue that conversation with you personally.
Yeah.
Just
That's a good one.
because I'm beginning to recognize that this is the responsibility of what it is to be a man. Just seems to be that the incomprehensible is the very thing that we are here to surrender to, and the process of us doing that allows us to what you call integrate the feminine essence, right? So that means that our very embodiment as men naturally is to create the very thing that we can conceptualize as beauty, and that's why we're here. We could bring that in. We could bring that love. We can manifest that love physically, and you can actually. I think the deepest need is to be seen, and every man is to be seen as a leader of his home.
Yeah.
And like you have that.
Yeah.
But to think that leadership exists within the context of your own ego and dysfunction is what makes you weak.
Yeah.
And when you open yourself up to something much larger than you, well, then you could love the way you want to be loved.
Yeah.
You'll know it.
Yeah.
Because and also that's like that's freedom. Because I think that in the 24 hours of just this conversation to kind of see how it marinates and where you guys are in like a couple months, we can figure that out.
Love it.
Perfect.
God bless both of you guys. Such a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Noah.
Really, really, real pleasure. Real honor.
Thank you.
I was not expecting this at all, and I think
Really?
that's what's so exciting.
What were
No?
you expecting?
I mean, I was expecting typically what I work with, which is, reactivity, a lack of openness, ego.
Yeah.
From both of us or from him?
I don't know Mel.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
I know you, but then I just realized if I know her, then they like each other, then they're
We're like the
probably
same
more
person,
like each other.
basically.
But that was really refreshing. That I was like, oh wait, this is so new. Because you think when I'm doing relationship counseling, she works for me. Like she wants this. She wants this. She played her cards so damn well. She managed to get in my business and get it for free. She got it for fucking free. Just remember that.
She's smart.
Very smart. Very smart. And yeah, no, God bless both of you that you continue to grow and come closer to each other and to be able to, build a family. And I really think that, that your efforts you'll break the curse of your, God willing, maybe future children. And I mean, to know that your children won't suffer what you suffered, I think you'll experience more than tears running down your face all the time. You'll experience a wholeness of existence and the eternal meaning of it all. And you guys are doing something really, really incredible if you continue to go in this direction. It's like you're going to do what has never been done. That's the future.
Thank you.
Why don't you go sit there, brother?
All right.
And then we'll look at each other. He throws the question, we look at each other
Okay.
because,
Perfect.
All right, I'm going to start with Carly.
Great.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Carly, do you ever, and these are just things I wrote down from the conversation, so feel
Okay.
free to reject it or,
I might.
yeah, whatever you want to do. Do you ever notice yourself shutting down when Mel's being vulnerable?
I've noticed where I would have a typical response to someone talking to me about their vulnerabilities, and I catch myself with Mel because I know him well enough that if I were to shut down at all when he comes to me being open, I know it'd push him away further. So I've made a very conscious effort whenever he's vulnerable to be very active in listening and really try to feel what he's feeling to have more compassion for the situation. So no, I don't think with him, I've never really had that issue of closing off when he's been open.
What do you think about that? You have a
Well,
bullshit? Is there like a bullshit button? Like boom?
Oh my God.
No? Maybe, brother. We have a button here.
It works.
No, he does. He hits all
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Bullshit button.
Literally.
Smack that shit.
That was a good answer. I think.
You know, I was curious.
I
Could
don't
I
know.
read them
It's
out?
like-
Could I read it? Could I read it to them?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have the novelty of reading it out loud and sharing
Yeah.
it with you guys. I think that'd be even better because it just
I
would
was
keep the
supposed- I was
conversation.
supposed to talk to you, and I was looking at
Yeah,
him.
well, I think that's the point. I might as well just answer the question. So if you want to just copy and paste them.
Yeah, send it to.
So you don't agree with what I said, or you do?
No, I agree with that.
Oh, okay.
All right. Questions for Mel.
Great.
Oh,
Amazing.
my turn.
He's skipping Carly.
She lost it. You saw that one? She was like slinging shit, and I was like, fucking Mel first. When you're feeling sad, what's happening inside of you that Carly might not see?
Ooh, that's a good question. When I'm feeling sad, the part that she probably doesn't see is that I don't feel seen, and then I don't express that to her, and then I create this. I wouldn't say a wedge, but I create this like false narrative in my head that it's not going to work, that it's not the right relationship, it's not the right conversation. It's like, and I just create this false
Yeah, the narratives. What do the narratives look like?
this isn't the right relationship.
Yeah, and you
I'm not.
almost start to confirm something about yourself too. So I'm curious, what's the narrative about you?
I mean, you could say like I'm not the right person for her, or I'm not good enough. I think in the past that's how I used to feel.
Yeah, well, remember the whole thing
To
about
me
what you've
now, I'm
overcome
like-
versus what you made progress with?
Yeah, I've made a lot of progress in that. And so
Yeah, so it's
to
not
me,
as harsh.
now I don't internalize that as it's me necessarily. I kind of say, oh, maybe it's her.
He
and
projects it onto me.
It's not the relationship.
Well, that's actually something that was actually a really good point of contact, which is, so yeah, these questions are great. It's like a whole nother one, but this is like the more fun one.
It's meant to be.
Yeah, this would be smoother if it's meant to be. So there's this like underlying disconnect, but the disconnect starts to kind of fit in this dangerous area of where you can't feel sad. The alternative is feeling sorry for yourself. So the narrative is is feeling sorry for yourself. And by the way, it's elaborate, it's advanced, and it might be partially altruistic and heroic, like I put myself out there. Even when I say the best thing, it still doesn't work, right? And you hear the narration and you're like, where did that fucking come from, right? Like usually that's when you start going like, I'm not expressing what I feel. So I think that's really at its core. And yeah, I think what it is that when she doesn't see you for when you're feeling, when you're feeling sad, she doesn't see you because you're a deeply sensitive person. And, I don't think that you project it onto her more than you protect yourself from being seen.
Yeah.
And so that's the natural response. I understand that. It's like more of like, oh, she's just not the right person. She's not connected, whatever it is. It's dangerous because I've fit a very similar demographic as you. Right? Which is like the object of projection, not being seen, deeply sensitive. And it's like all the whammies on top of them. And then when you open up and then somebody reacts, it's almost like, yeah, you start to feel disconnected from them. And then that brings up deeper feelings around it. I think this is something I'm spitballing with you as I'm talking to you about it because I think it's pretty cool, is that there's these underlying feelings of, it's like a deep sadness. It's a really deep sadness, like the desire to cry almost because of what it's bringing you closer to in yourself, And I also think that there's loss, and that's the hard part. That's the really hard thing to experience, is that you're almost experiencing the loss of the person that you shared a deep love and connection with. But that's the danger of they're not the one. they're not the one that's conclusive. I'm feeling loss here means I'm grieving what they can't give. And by the way, that's in a lot of ways healing and development, right? But the difference between children and parents is, children and adults is you can communicate what these things are, and a person can have a commitment. So for both of you guys, you could only strengthen the commitment that you made to yourself. So your ability to investigate or to interact with any kind of conflict that requires you to be vulnerable and even for you to be open, you guys don't control each other. You could just inspire that initial commitment. And through that, you can become the best version of yourself. And so if that's not there, you can't force it. And I think that's also why there's also a lot of expectations lifted off of you, which is you don't have to do that. You don't have to crack her open, because I'm sure that's your other mode of operation, which is, oh, no, it doesn't open. I'll crank this one open. You know what I'm saying? I'll do the same thing. I'll fucking blast this door open. And by the way, and also when you win that game, you lose, right? Because then she's like, oh my God, thank you so much. I was so heartless and disconnected, and I totally wasn't aware of what was going on. And then she almost likes that. And then you're like, well, then every time I need to shotgun blast you, I need to close my heart off in order to do that. This is not a win. And so I think that your ability to experience loss too is not just going to be just loss of what happened there. I think it's going to be loss of many needs you haven't been given growing up. And by the way, you might go, well, fuck, I want to go to the past. Don't worry, they're not in the past. They're right here. And that's where the blame starts to happen. It's like my parents, my this, my that, her other girlfriends. It's like, no, this is my emotions. This is my feelings. I get to feel this shit. And sometimes we feel responsible for the other person making us feel a certain way. That's actually not true. That's your relationship with the experience. And that's your emotions, not them. That's not them. That's fucking cool. I like that.
I think it's a difficult thing for men to vocalize as well.
I was going to say that, like, as our relationship has progressed, you've done a really good job labeling like how you're feeling instead of like making me decipher what's going on in your head.
Yeah.
And for someone who's like pretty emotionally like disorganized, and I don't really know how to like label my emotions all the time, it's really helpful when you'll call me and be like, oh yeah, I'm feeling like sad, or I'm feeling like this, because then it's like, okay, like try to imagine how he's feeling right now, like be in his shoes. And you've done a really good job of like doing that lately.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
He's feeling seen like a beast. You know what happens to me? I have a girl that I'm really disconnected from. And I continue to go out with her. And then as we start going out with each other, she has like a nice little breakthrough and sees me for a little bit. And then I go, oh, and I pull out the wife sticker. That's not healthy. That's not healthy, because that's better. It doesn't mean that it's resolved. It's better. Same thing with my mom. It's like, I have a relationship with her. She said sorry for the first time in 26 years. Right? And I'm like, forever, together forever. We're so close. And my coach is like, motherfucker, what are you doing? No, that's better. Like, don't dismiss yourself. Like, you see, like the dismissing is dangerous because it removes you from reality. And so it's nothing to do with like, the way people perceive these things. Anyways, I'm liking a lot of these questions. Woof. I mean, brother, these are so fucking heavy. With these...
What do you think I was doing over there?
Well, I'm not down to do another 2.5 hours.
No, these are short form questions.
Brother, these aren't short form questions. Okay, let me show you this. Both questions for both of you. Okay. How do you think Carly's emotional unavailability is shaping the trust and intimacy between you two? It's really a question for you, but it puts her on her back feet.
Go ahead.
Ask it to me one more time.
Well, yeah, so I think that I could ask the question a little bit. Yeah, it's like, how do you think Carly's emotional unavailability is shaping the trust and intimacy between you two? Like, there's something about her unavailability that's in a lot of ways shaping a dynamic of sorts, right? And you could be catering to that dynamic. So what is that? I mean, really, the question is what does that make you feel? Because really, the unavailability gives you something that you definitely have a reaction to that makes you feel that you can trust her less.
Yeah, for sure. It's a really good question. When she was emotionally unavailable, I think one thing that I did early on in the relationship is I kind of showed it to her and what it was doing to this relationship. And so, good thing with her, she started to change that, and so she's become more open.
Well, that's beautiful. There he goes. Those are the moments you get to see the person.
Yeah.
Like she could have just resorted to every single dysfunctional, back-end, dark nature, unintegrated bullshit, and you would have, but she was like, oh, wait, I'm going to address that.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's fucking scary. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could feel that. Like, oh shit. I just suggested that and it worked.
So yeah,
Yeah, I got to go deeper, right? I like that. That's really cool. All right, let's see what else we got. Do you ever feel like you're living in two separate emotional worlds? Question for both.
Go for it.
Do I ever feel as though yes. Yes. There's like reality and there's the delusional land that I live in. So for example, when we had certain situations come up, there's like the piece of me that wants to defend his behaviors and have a lot of empathy for his actions because maybe I didn't do what I could have done or I should have done something differently or better. And then there's the other part of me that looks at the reality of what he did and um, it makes me resent him and like have animosity towards him.
That's beautiful. Great. Well, you better start addressing that shit fast, right? No, because by the way, just so you know this, that like you want to destroy your relationship, it's the unaddressed resentment. That's the poison. And you're responsible for that.
Yeah.
And that might be difficult to communicate because it's like a frozen aggression. It's a frozen anger towards something.
I think the way that I've like processed a lot of that resentment and animosity is by talking through the situation with him.
Of course. And don't also hide what you feel in relationship to
No, I
it,
haven't. And there's been things that have like triggered me that have like brought up old feelings. And I've came to him and I've been like, hey, like I just need more clarity on like this. Like I just need reassurance.
Yeah, old feelings are feelings not communicated when the thing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's understandable. I think that, again, that plays into your like really deep dysfunction. And like I wanted to read the question again because there's something else I wanted to add on top of it.
Yeah, you would hold on to stuff
for months.
So yeah, this is what it was. I think you guys would like this. What it is to feel connected to someone is to share a collective internal paradise. You guys share the world with each other. That's when you feel connected, right? When you share that world, right? Connection is important because for women, it's confirming of reality. And for men, it means that they're seen and recognized in relationship to what they'd be willing to do to preserve and protect it. So when you have a connection, you guys are sharing this inner paradise. It's sharing this internal world together. And so when you guys recognize, well, we have these two different worlds. Of course, you're two different people. You'll interact with it differently. But I think that in a lot of ways, from what you were telling me, it's a way for you to separate from the things that you have a hard time communicating. So it's a world you run to. And you also have that old world you run to. And I think it's the dangers for you, feeling sad or feeling sorry for yourself. The feeling sorry for yourself world is Eeyore. I just don't know what it is, right? Like for me, what is it? It's the Jew with the Nobel Peace Prize. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck me. What the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to watch out, whatever that is. It's a woe is me. It's Job. It's like, my suffering's my greatness. I'm like, okay, you can cry right now and you don't need to do this. I'm like, and it's good. It's good. Because I look forward to when I'm in a relationship and I can actually do that. As I know it's fucking excellent, man. Like, we could be kids again. Like, we could build a family too. All right, here we go. Let's go crazy. Let's see what else we got. If things stayed the same for the next few years, what would each of you be afraid might happen?
I would be afraid of him dying.
Excuse me. That was so bad on my end. I like that. That was cool. That's so cool. Yeah.
I think we could become really good roommates. Like, even if we're married.
This conversation.
And
I fucking hate this
not have connection. Like
that's
deep emotional.
That's terrifying. Yeah, we have the same thing. That you wake up one morning, you feel nothing for them. You're like, "What's up, buddy?" You clap them up
because we get along so well, right? And I mean, like every
that's a nice.
It lines up really great on paper,
But have good intimacy too, and I feel like most roommates don't have good intimacy.
I agree. Well, and I think it's something we have to continually work through and work.
Yeah, for sure. And I think for you, that's being seen. So there's a lot of intimacy. I mean. And being seen.
But
you guys keep moving that.
Sexual intimacy or what kind of intimacy are we talking
about? Well, they're collective.
Could be,
emotional.
Yeah, spiritual connection.
They're the same. For men and women, they're the same. That's the space you meet. When a woman goes, what, just sexual? I'm like, okay, you've told me your story. You told me, in other words, you don't feel connected during sex, right? Because it's the space like a man's relationship with his emotions, a woman's relationship with her sexuality. You'll see a lot about it. And the more integrated you become with sex, the more sex becomes a collective experience. Like the best compliment you give anybody is you're deeply sexual. And sometimes when actually talking to a lot of Christians, I notice that they compartmentalize sex as an expression. They're like, yeah, man, I look at this girl and like, all I want to do is fuck her. I'm like, is there a girl you look at and like, all you want to do is buy her a house and get a divorce in 20 years? Like, no, you don't have that, do you? Right? So I think it's important to see that when somebody removes the emotions from sex, I don't know what kind of sex you're talking about. Like I'd have this a lot with girls. I'll talk to them and I'm very forward and very vocal and bold. And I do that because I want to be seen. I'm just not interested in your bullshit projection of me being some sort of rabbi. I'm closer to a porn star, you know? And then what happens if she sees like, oh, okay, I see that. Like I get to see you are, I felt that. Then we get to play with each other and we continue the conversation because I know that's there. But yeah, sometimes there's what happens is that people start to associate superficiality to sex. Remember, the term of Adam knew Eve. It's knowing. And by the way, to think that your emotional conversations aren't sex will start to eventually start changing your understanding of conversations between men and women. Because when people go, I didn't cheat, it's like, but you were talking to your employee for the last 20 years about all of your emotional needs. Yeah, there's a sexual nature to that. And then eventually you start realizing that the sexual nature between men and women is something that needs to be deeply respected. It is what, I mean, the word that people say that I think is overused is sacred. And so like, yeah, everything you do is sexual. That's beautiful. You guys were once one. The whole idea of that is like you guys fill each other's holes. And that's literally manifested in sex. Yeah, it's manifested in sex. And by the way, the more you collectively spend there, the more you exist more than your sum total.
I guess I don't have the same fear that you have of the roommate situation.
No, but that roommate situation's real because I have the same fear as him. I'm actually very, very similar to Mel.
I understand like what you're saying, but I feel like we have a strong enough like other connection.
Oh, it's so easy to get rid of that. You want to know how you do it? You want to know how you do it? It's really quick. Once you begin to have children, a lot of his fears and underlying relationship with sexuality starts to kick in. And a lot more of your emotional needs start to pick up, which makes sense. But because you're extraordinarily stressed and he wants to connect with you more during this period of time, which is actually typical, but because you have a really difficult time with your emotions, it'll be mirrored in your relationship with your body. So your pregnancies will probably fucking damn near kill you. Which probably, okay. No, I'm saying in general. Did you have really difficult pregnancies?
So easy.
You had easy pregnancies?
No epidural. Like,
great. I'm talking about when you were carrying the baby.
So easy.
Okay, amazing. So then that's its own thing. But I'm saying that's clearly, look, there he goes. Talked about it for 5 minutes. It's not there. But that's what I'm saying is that actually there is a way to do it, is that constantly when he is looking to come closer to you, you inherently
we just talked about this
reject him intimately. And that's how you create a roommate. Yeah, so you create a roommate.
Because I think as a good woman, you either need to, I'm going to say it. Sorry, you can cut this out.
No.
As a good woman, you need to either bend over or suck dick at any like given call, like for your man, like no matter what. Like if you're not in the mood, if you're not feeling it, like if you want to keep the relationship going, you have to either bend over,
be willing
suck
to.
dick.
Yeah.
Like always, no matter what. I think that's what one of your jobs as like a woman.
Well, I think you like this. You're playing into something true. You're playing into something true here, which is every man needs to know that the woman he's with is 100% his.
Yeah.
Right.
And if that contract is breached, he will not consider you. So women like to think that a man will consider them if they give him conditions. No, he'll treat you worse.
I agree.
Once he finds a way to meet your conditions.
I agree 100%.
So what you're saying is I'm 100% yours.
Available at any time.
What man wants a favor blowjob? No hands go up. Okay? The truth is, he just wants to know that you're 100% there, and he'll consider how you feel in relationship to it. So any man that really deeply cares about you and knows that you're 100% his, you have a stomach ache? He's like, I'm yours, though. And he goes, let's go take care of that shit. I'll see you tomorrow. Mm-hmm. You know, like, they will start considering you. Yeah. But I think that's a very, very important truth, is that...
could have been worded probably a little bit classier.
100% is. You can't...
No.
By the way, that's real. That's real.
Yeah.
100% real. By the way, I think it's actually important that we use vulgarities more, because I think the nature of vulgarities are designed to elicit emotion. And that's good. People need to elicit more emotion in relationship to sex, because they feel... a lot of people repress that. They don't have the ability to communicate it. Which is great. This is really great. All right, next one, because this is fun. This is so much fun. Thank you for this, by the
Are
way.
you
You
gonna
guys can
cut that
thank us.
out, Jake?
No.
My mom's
No.
gonna see that and be like, "What the
No,
hell?"
your mom's not gonna see that. Is she?
5 million views.
Oh, 100%, bro.
And it's only gonna be you saying that. It's not
Yeah, nothing else. Just like for sure, absolutely true. Yeah, nothing, just that. Clickbait right there. Boom.
I mean, hey, you know that's a sign of wisdom. That's actually a sign of feminine wisdom. And most women be like, she's superficial. Like, don't even get me started. You sit in this chair. If you think she's superficial, you get a fucking grade A spot right here. See how you'll hold up.
What's that one thing you told me when I first met you that you thought I was what's that word? You were like, I thought you were gonna be a lot more something, but you're not. Not like
Oh no. So there's like I thought she was going to be totally like super feminist and hyper masculinized kind of thing. You know, I was expecting a
It
lot
starts
more.
with a P, the word that you used. I don't remember.
Whatever it wasn't positive.
No, it was.
All right.
Yeah, I kind of had the same thought with you.
You thought it was gonna be super masculine.
So I like this. Do you know when conflict arises and you start feeling disconnected from her? You said that you turn to work a lot as one of your outlets. What do those things give you that are not being given to you in your relationships?
I think it's been a healthy outlet for me instead of going and drinking, or going and doing drugs, or going.
Well, yeah. Wait, there's
It's just ever since I was a kid, it's been the outlet that I've chosen to
Mhm.
put energy into, and I found that after I did those things, it allowed me to think, process, just get away from the situation so that I could show up in a different way.
No, that's powerful. Well, you don't have your immediate like reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that becomes a dangerous one, especially when it becomes subtle. And then you're very smart, so you're going to find a way to kind of cleverly weave that into your relationship at some point. And you'll manifest the roommates, by the way. You will.
Yeah.
And so, because it's funny, it's not even something she thought of. It's just does not in her energy, but it's in yours. And the things that we often fear are often the things we subtly create in our subconscious.
100%.
Not because you fear them, but because all fears are really just representative of the thing that you're actually aiming towards.
Mhm.
And any kind of fear that you have is typically the very thing that you were going to create if you didn't address the fear consciously. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Won't be any roommates in the next 10 years.
None.
No. Like literally we'll get like a sex dungeon or something. Whatever we
A
gotta do
sex-
to like make it work, I swear.
What does it feel when you're being vulnerable but Carly?
Sex dungeon's gonna get views too.
I like this one. Do you ever feel your sadness gets minimized?
Didn't we just do this one?
It's the same question in a lot of ways.
Is it?
Some of these are phrased differently for short form purposes.
Oh, okay.
I'm okay to kind of
Ask it one
adjust these a little bit just
Ask it
because.
one more time.
We already did it.
We'll get
Kinda.
a short form answer.
How does it feel when you're being vulnerable but Carly doesn't meet you in that space? I think that's the better version of it. Yeah.
We already did that one, didn't we? That was
No,
the
no.
first one.
How does it feel when you're being vulnerable and Carly doesn't meet you in that space?
Ooh. Well, it shuts me off for sure, and I think it creates for future times that would happen. Like if I were being vulnerable, I would second guess bringing it up.
That's very powerful.
Because I would have been conditioned from the first time. She's not holding space for me. She's not showing up or listening or.
No, and I think that's really important. It's like you have to start recognizing the value of vulnerability, and you can't really recognize that if you don't embody it yourself. That just becomes something that you conceptualize, you can leverage. It's not opportunity cost, right? Vulnerability exists not as a way for you to get something. It's to have a space to embody yourself and your truth, to be able to share a space where you can be truthful with each other. And then, by the way, everything becomes a product of that truth together. And so you guys are really doing something for you. And if vulnerability becomes removed from you, it becomes something that you can either be punished for, which you don't want, because then that's taken away your personal power and your freedom, your ability to communicate. Let me see what else we got here. I was thinking about going through some of my questions. I have some bullshit for you guys. I know we've been here for a little bit.
Some bullshit.
It's more than 2 hours.
This seems long.
All right. Questions for Carly. I like this one. What feels uncomfortable about letting him in emotionally,
Mm.
fully?
I think I get a feeling of not being good enough for him, and I don't want to be judged. And I feel like it's hard for me to express how I'm feeling, and I don't want to be misunderstood when I communicate that.
I want to read this again because I like that you kind of like dipped your toes in that. I'm going to ask it again.
Don't filter it.
What do you feel uncomfortable about letting him all the way in emotionally?
Are you talking like topics? Like what?
No. I'm saying this is a good point. When he's opening up,
Oh, uh-huh.
what challenges you the most about that? When
Oh,
he's
if
opening up,
okay. I think I've just been conditioned in my life to problem solve so much.
maybe I asked the bad question. I want to just reframe it. I'll just ask the question myself because I actually understand what Jake was saying. He worded it very well, which is there's an underlying fear that you have of letting him in fully.
Yeah,
What's the fear?
that I won't be good enough for him.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful. That's actually your green light to opening. That's actually when you are opening. And you have to learn how to feel that. And I think that, you've avoided a lot of your insecurities long enough. You could do with some light. And to think that this relationship won't challenge you and bring up those insecurities, this is a sign that he can actually be there for you, that you felt that way. Because imagine the other alternative, I don't think he's enough. At least it's better to be on this side of the coin where you're like, I don't know if I'll be enough. I mean, the funny thing is that if Mel were to tell you the truth of the matter is you're more than enough. And that's the thing that's interesting, is that if you were able to, the product of what creates the unavailability is the belief that you're not. And so why would I open up to a bereft soul?
Yeah.
I was like, well, if you saw it from where he's looking at the ocean he's needed his whole life. So
Aw,
it's really beautiful
that's
that you
so
can
beautiful.
that you can get there really quick. And that's a great
Loved
question. You could
that.
thank Jake for that, because that was really spot
That
on.
was so sweet. I love you.
You guys are so
That was
awesome. You guys are so cute. You
You're
are so cute. I like this one because I think a lot of what you were mentioning earlier was that you don't feel enough. And that's something that you consistently feel a lot of, especially when that kind of love walks through and it's deeply challenging. And that's actually a sign of a healthy relationship. So you guys got that. And do you want to be able to show up more, but sometimes just don't know how?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's hard for me to, I think because Mel and I are so similar that when he feels or acts a certain way, I think I know where he's coming from. And so it's hard for me to actually, I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say.
I understand.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I understand what you're trying to say, that it's hard for you to show up for him.
Yeah, it's hard for me to show up for him because I feel like I've already figured it out in my mind sometimes where he's coming from and
Yeah, that's
why.
the epitome of not listening.
Yeah, and it's I have that
Preconceived notion.
problem-solving part of my brain that's trying to figure it out for him.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point of listening, is accepting you don't know.
Yeah,
This is a symphony you've never heard.
yeah,
And again, I think that plays into not being enough, right? Because if I don't know and if I don't have that thing, then I can't be there for him. And I'd rather just the unavailable, dysfunctional conversation where nothing happens and I
Yeah.
act like I'm listening, when really at the end of the day, what he just wants is a space.
yeah.
And by the way, that's a space that he will extend to you. And I promise you that. You have that space, you'll feel heard.
I think I just don't know what to say sometimes because he's smart. He's a smart
What's
guy.
wrong with listening?
So a lot of times he'll say something and I'm well, you already know
That's not the point.
what's going on.
Do you see what I'm trying to say? That's your brain right here. Listen, listen to what you're saying
do
right
I just
now.
listen? I just sit there and I'm uh-huh.
And
'Cause
what
then I
do
feel
you
it's not engaging.
There he goes, and it plays with the insecurity that she's not enough. But do you see how that you're reinforcing that insecurity? You need to start recognizing that what makes you so valuable to Mel is not your world-class insight of what you can give him. You're with him for the fact that he knows the answer to that question. What he really loves about you is that you are a woman with a beautiful heart.
So that doesn't answer my question though.
It doesn't answer your question you had in your mind, but it did answer your question.
So what do I say though?
That's what I'm trying to
what's the
make a
right
point
thing to
here,
say?
that you're removing yourself from your own value by not understanding how important you are to him by just being you. A woman embodies that, and it reminds a man that he can do the same thing for himself. He lives with that.
So essentially just being present in the conversation is the answer.
Yes. When you haven't, that's the whole thing that I know blows your mind. It's like, how am I valuable as a woman if I don't give him a Tony Robbins response? Excuse me,
Solve the
you
problem.
are the embodiment of all value. You're a woman.
Yeah.
You remove yourself from that when you have to continue to, be there for him as his coach or his therapist or some sort of glorified
Yeah, I don't want to do
girlfriend.
that.
No,
I truly don't.
You don't want to do it because it makes you feel like you're not enough. You're reinforcing the insecurity of it. And by the way, the next time he comes in, he's just opening up about something. By the way, the truth is he knows what it is. Like, I know what that is too. Like, the truth is guys who've done well for a certain period of their life know how to solve this problem like they did the other problems. But
I have that with you all the time too.
yeah, you're like,
All the
Naftali,
time.
you're going to solve this. I'm like, no fucking shit. I'm just telling you, I'm terrified.
You'll call me and be like, all this happened. I'm like, okay. Like, are you okay?
You don't know how powerful
I don't
that
know
is.
how to say what to say to you sometimes. I'm
You're going to, your children are going to really appreciate this conversation. They're going to really, really appreciate this conversation because your children will come up to you and they'll go, Mommy, I'm sad.
Yeah.
And you'll go, well, you just got to learn to have a better mindset. And he's going to want to kill himself in 20 years.
It's true.
I think that's,
I've been guilty of that in the past.
No, it's okay.
I think with
No,
kids
no,
it's so
and
different.
it won't happen
Progress,
with your
that's what
daughters
you're
though. With
learning,
your daughters,
yeah,
you'll be like, baby, it's okay.
Yeah.
With your sons, you'll be like, you can't be sad.
No, it's opposite.
Really?
Yeah. My son, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
what's wrong?
okay.
How
I'm
can I
learning
help
new things.
you?
That's good. Okay.
You're like, you're smarter than that. I'm like,
I think, accepting you don't know is going to make you feel like you're not enough. And then you're going to start embodying your value. And that's what you're really connecting to. It's through your femininity. You have to remember this. Men see something about women that women don't see about themselves. And then they accredit that to women, mistakenly, naively. No, she's not connected to that. You're giving her something she can't receive. Let her go, right?
mhm,
And so in your case, you're connecting to that very thing. And
mhm,
when a woman connects to that, you're opening up to so much vulnerability because that's the path by which you do it, right?
mhm,
Which is there something I can control or I just need to be me?
mhm.
Like, you just need to be you. And it's like, well, what the fuck does that mean? That's not enough. I need control, right? You see what I'm saying? I've been left before. All right, God bless both of you.
Thank you.